Hi guys, work is about to start in a few, and yes, separation anxiety. Let's even talk about that in a minute. So, I had to get this because I've been forgetting a whole lot of stuff, and with work, it's going to be added responsibilities, and I wanted to make sure that I don't forget anything, and so I got this. What this does is it helps me keep notes of appointments that are extremely important not to miss. For instance, I have an appointment scheduled on Friday the night for my physiotherapy. And so this really has come in so handy for me to just document everything, just making sure I don't forget everyone's schedule, whether it's my daughter's appointment, my son's appointment, my appointment, or even my husband's appointment. Now, let's talk about how I'm feeling getting back to work. Oh my goodness, I don't know, it's like a mix of emotions. Hi guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new, my name is Chi, and it's a pleasure to get to electronically meet you. And I hope we get to meet in person one of these days. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do also hit the subscribe button. Support your girl, enable me to continue to come here and talk to you guys and continue to create content that you love. And if you're a return subscriber, thank you so much and welcome back. So I wanted to come and spend a little time with you guys, let you know what I've been up to lately. Oh my god, so work starts in a couple of weeks and separation anxiety has been the order of the day. I just keep thinking, how can I stay away from my son or my children? I've been thinking, like, how can I manage things? How can I manage home front? I mean, that anxiety is there. I mean, I've been putting a lot of work into making sure that everything is set up for the kids and also sort of transitioning into yet another new routine of working mom of two. That has been going great, but I'd say until we get there. So when we get to the bridge, we cross it. It's until I get to actually starting work and seeing what the schedule looks like, and then trying to fix merge being a wife, a mom, and all of that good stuff into it. Anyway, I digress. So that has really been the order of the day, trying to set up my kids at a daycare. That's even a story for another day. Just getting everything in place with sort of what the working room is. I've actually, started resetting my work desk. My work desk, I don't know, I moved it down to the basement initially, but now I've had to move it to like upstairs so I can also work alongside, keep an eye on my son who will still be at home. So yeah, please let me know in the comment section how y'all are doing it, because however, I'm looking forward to starting work, looking forward to seeing what that really looks like. I think when we talk about work-life balance, this is kind of where that will be put to a test, right? So I'm really looking forward to it, and of course I'll share tips along the way in terms of what's working and what's not. And of course you also get to see that part of my life, like the professional side of my life, which I believe hasn't really showed itself here. So now, in the order of the day, I recently put out a poll for questions and answers, right? I wanted to dive into some question and answer conversation in an effort to introduce myself, or reintroduce myself rather, and to answer any burning questions that you might have pertaining to me or anything that relates to me. And so I got a few questions that I thought I'll come in here and discuss and share honest answers to. So here goes. I'm going to tackle 5 questions just in the interest of time. I want to keep this video short, sweet, and succinct. So if you want more of this, please let me know and definitely hit me with questions, and I'll create a whole separate video for it. So first question was, what do I do as a 9 to 5? Well, I talk about being a professional here and there, and I can understand how that could be confusing. Like, okay, so what do you actually do on the side? So my professional job, in fact, let's even talk about my background. I am a medic by background. However, I pivoted, and that would be a story for another day, into marketing. And so I'm, if you may, a marketing professional. that's kind of what I do without giving too much information. That's what I do on the side. I'm a marketing professional. I help companies that I work with sort of define their go-to-market strategy. I help them drive purchase intent. I help them create customer value, clientele value, revive, sustain, and retain brand image. I help market products and services to create a purchase intent, if that makes sense. And when we talk about marketing, I've been through all facets of marketing: marketing generalist, digital marketing, content. I've done email marketing, SEO, SEM, you name it. Second question was, where am I from? I am Nigerian. I am Igbo. I'm from Imo State and I'm married to a Ghanaian. So by marriage, now a Ghanaian. Make sense? Okay. Question number 3 was more so like a question, not a personal question, but it was a question asking for guidance in terms of like basically for me to share my opinion. And the question was, would I advise for content creators specifically to maintain their 9 to 5s or to focus full time on content creation? And personally, again, my opinion is, why would you want to leave your 9 to 5? Like, your 9 to 5 literally funds your side business to some extent. Until, of course, you get to a point where you feel you're comfortable enough and your business comfortably funds you and your lifestyle. Also, your 9 to 5 is stable, where you're guaranteed like a monthly income versus whatever side business you're doing. So let's speak specifically to content creation. Content creation is not set in stone until you're able to get brand deals, until you're able to get monetized, until it's based off of views, based off of engagement, based off of reach and things like that. So they have certain parameters that would enable you monetize. However, with a 9 to 5, you work, you get your money. You work, you get your money. So you're guaranteed of monthly income, if that makes sense. And for someone like me, again, depends on your situation. For someone like me who has kids, I can't afford not to provide, if that makes sense. So having a 9 to 5 is definitely important. In fact, it's critical. And supplementing even with the side business or content creation or doing something that I actually love, it's pretty much a win-win. So my guidance to you is, look at your scenario, look at your finances, look at your capability. You don't want to put too much on yourself, right? You don't want to have a 9 to 5 and then struggle to even keep both afloat. Now, if you don't have the right balance for both, then you might as well pick one to focus on. However, if you can and you have the capacity, then go for it. But always have a steady income. You get why? Always have a steady income, especially in terms like this. Being in Canada, we live by the bills, right? So you definitely don't want to be found wanting in terms of bill payments and things like that. So my guidance would always be, make nice sure that you have a steady income. If of course you've gotten to a point where your side business or your content creation work is giving you the bang for your buck, like you're being consistent, you have multiple brand deals that can last for the same period, like 5 years, 10 years, you name it, and you're secure in the fact that your average income in a month is way more than the 9 to 5, then that's a no-brainer. I mean, if it's more and you feel, if you give that your full time, you can even get even more, then absolutely do it. Why not? But if you're in a situation where you're not earning as much, it's not consistent, and if you perhaps give up your 9 to 5, there will be moments where incomes might fluctuate, then that's definitely a bad decision. You want to ensure that you have a steady income for you to get to where you need to be. So that's my guidance. Know your scenario. Are you earning way more from your side business than your 9 to 5? Is it consistent? By consistent is it monthly or bi-weekly or whatever the case is? Is the average well enough to fund your day-to-day or your lifestyle? So these are certain questions that you need to answer. There's no sort of, like, it's not cast in stone. There's no one way to it. It's just based on the scenario and the circumstance. So you really have to weigh your options and then figure out also capacity has a play to it, because it's so easy to say, oh, I want to keep my 9 to 5 and do like multiple side businesses, but the sustainability of it is what matters, right? And when you want to do something, you want to give it your all, you want to give it the quality that it needs for you to progress, right? So that's my 2 cents. The fourth question was, how does it feel to be married to a Ghanaian? I mean, I feel like marrying a Ghanaian is like secondary. I feel like I'm marrying the person, the personality, versus marrying a Ghanaian. So I don't know the tag. The tag, I feel like it's just cliche. Like it's unnecessary. The tag is really just, okay, where is he from? However, it's really the personality, because I could have been married to a guy that's from Italy or a guy that's from France or whatever it is. So it's really not, I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm marrying the human versus where he's from. Where he's from is like the secondary thing. What's primary is the human, the person, the personality. You don't marry. But anyway, to answer your question, being married to a Ghanaian, for me, and again, this is my experience, you guys don't quote me, being married to a Ghanaian is amazing. Like, I think I've done a full, like, my husband and I, we've had a sit down video on this in terms of the benefit, the pros and the cons, what's exciting about being married to a Ghanaian and vice versa. So to sum it up, really, diverse cultures, lots of learning, various delicacies to choose from, a lot of languages, like broadening my understanding of cultures, cultural infusion, and just the fun and adventure with it, right? How we have fun talking about, laughing about each of our accents and, languages and things like that. It's just exciting. On the con side, it could also be a barrier to some in terms of, if, for instance, your husband speaks like 5 languages and you don't even understand one. So when he's speaking those languages, you might tend to feel uncomfortable. It could also be little things in terms of gestures, in terms of sort of personalities. Like, for instance, in Nigeria, Nigerians love to shout, even when they're not, there's no quarrel or anything. We just naturally just scream out loud. Whereas Ghanaians are more on the calmer side and things like that. So this kind of personalities might the wrong way to some people, but again, understanding is what sets in, and that's why I'm again going back to the fact that you're marrying the person and not where they're from. It's exciting, it's amazing, like, I'm learning on a daily. In fact, yesterday I just learned that there's big abobitadi, and then there's the abobitadi where you peel off the head, and then there's the one where you don't. So it's like, I'm learning every day, and it's incredible to see. So that's what I consider marrying in Ghana. I think it's nice, but I'm also marrying the person than where the person's from, if that makes sense. Fifth question, and I'm gonna end there, is how am I balancing life as a wife, life as a mom of 2, life as a creative, a content creator, and life as a professional? That is a very good question. It's because if you ask me, now who I go ask? Anyway, let me preface this by saying it's never easy. There's no rule or guide to it. And kudos to mothers, because it can never be easy, no matter how much we make it look. I might be here smiling, eating and all of that, but it's really, really not easy. Like, there's sleepless nights, I'm constantly planning in my head. I'm constant, like, my brain is always on, like, autopilot, like, it's on the move, like, oh, what's the next thing? Oh, even while I'm making breakfast, like, okay, I'm already planning what's for lunch and dinner, and what we'll eat for the rest of the day. Like, it's so, it's a lot, physically, mentally, emotionally. It's draining. You have responsibilities. You have to pray for your husband as a wife. You have to pray for your kids. You have to keep them safe. You have to sort them out. You have to take them for appointments. And I would say it's even a lot easier if you were back home. But being in, I mean, abroad, it's even 10 times tougher because you don't have that much help that you typically have back at home. And it's really one of the things that I miss about being back home. So just imagine doing all of these things yourself with no help, just you and your partner. So that's pretty much what it is. So how do I balance? I do the best that I can do. You don't want to stress you because taking care of yourself is part of taking care of your family. If you're not well mentally, emotionally, physically, you can't possibly be responsible, take care of another, right? You can't possibly do that if you're not well. Basically, what I do is I ensure that I take care of myself. If it's something that I need to eat, I eat it. Or if it's something that I feel like doing or going for, something experiential that I wanted to experience, I'll figure out a way to just incorporate the entire family to doing that. So wellness is extremely important, and it's important to me, and I find that has helped. If it's spa, whenever I feel like I need a spa date, I will go for a spa date. I'll just basically just plan ahead, make arrangements, and just make sure the kids and everybody is fine. If I have to cook in advance, I have to prep, I have to plan, I'll do all that. But intentionally, the goal is intentionally planning, intentionally making sure that your wellness is at the forefront. Prayer is definitely something that I never want to lose sight on. Not just prayer, but studying the word and just really having that time with God. If we can have time to create content, if we can have time to work, if we can have time to call our friends and gist, we definitely can have time to just say to God, hi, what's up? What's going on, Jesus? Can you help me? Can you do this? This is what I'm struggling with. So just knowing that I have God and He continues to replenish my strength is just amazing, because each day I don't even know, like sometimes I wake up and I'm super tired, but of course there's rest days for moms, right? You gotta do what you gotta do. So in that moment I just pray for strength. I'm like, God, please, I need your strength. Please help. Please lead me. In times where I need to sort of make a quick decision and I'm like, oh God, give me the wisdom to direct things that I need to do. Because it will shock you, like there are certain things that will happen that you need to sort of figure out ASAP. So prayers is definitely number 2. And then organization. You can't, of course, be too organized, but just making sure that, okay, maybe one has to be at daycare at 8, maybe 2 has to maybe go for a dentist appointment, or I have a meeting at 9, or my husband. So it's just kind of figuring out, okay, what's the daily schedule? How do we navigate? And doing that ahead of time is always the best. Now, in events where, of course, emergencies can happen, you always pivot, right? So planning, being organized when it comes to food. Okay, what are they going to eat tomorrow? What are they going to take to school tomorrow? My routine now is pretty much, okay, I will cook all the bulk things, soups, stews, and, all the bulk stuff over the weekend. I'll pack them in the freezer, and then the fresh ones, or things that you have to cook on the go, like the veggies, the salads, the rice, and the swallow, can always be made as I own. It's needed. So that way, it saves me time during the week. So I just, instead of having to cook during the week, I'll just pop something out of the freezer and just make something. So organization is super key. Like what is happening, even everything, like you need to plan, you need to organize yourself. If you're, for instance, planning to, okay, I need to go drop off the kids and I need to go to work for a meeting at 9, for instance, and I need to drop the kids by 8:30, it makes sense to just plan to leave the house. Everybody gets ready, leave the house at 8, drop your kids off at 8:30, and then head to work for 9. So that is the kind of planning that I mean. The 4th one is really spending time with your family, spending time with your husband, spending time with your children, and being intentional about it, because time has a way of passing you by and you can never go back in time. I wish we could, right? We just can never. And find yourself focusing so much on work, trying to meet your deliverables, trying to meet your target, that you lose sight on the kids that are growing before you every day, or the husband or the wife that is right in front of you that needs your care or your attention. As difficult as that sounds, because it happens to the best of us. Like oftentimes I would have a long, super long day, and all I just want to do is sleep. Once I've put the kids to bed, I just want to pass out. But I'm making that conscious effort to say, hey babe, let's watch a movie. Once the kids are asleep, we go down watching. Even if it means us passing out on the couch or on the bed, pass out on the bed while watching a movie, that's okay. But just having that moment, even if it's just 30 minutes with each other. Oh, how did your day go? Oh, what are we doing tomorrow? Oh, are you free? These kind of conversations, it eases the mind, it eases the body and soul. It makes you feel like, okay, you're present there as a wife, as well as a partner, a mom, and things like that. Same with the kids. Like every Saturday, there's always an activity for the kids. Now, it doesn't have to be something that you need to break the bank. You could have an activity in the house, whether it's functional learning, whether it's playtime, whether it's, it could be anything. It could be time with your friends and loved ones at their place. It could be indoor games. It could be outdoor as well. So we're planning, for instance, to go to the Legoland, and we're like, oh, it's a day trip, so we need to, yada yada yada. And then we've been planning on that trip, and we're looking forward to it. And everybody is excited. So that time with the kids, I'm making sure, of course, the time with the kids are the time with the kids, not at the time with the kids. Now you start pulling off phone, especially me. Like that's like what I typically would do on a normal, but I started to pay attention. Like, okay, I need to start living in the moment. And the camera comes. Sometimes I just put the camera on the stand and I just keep doing what I'm doing, right? So that way it's not impacting the level of fun or excitement or time that I would have with my kids. Like I just enjoy it. Or sometimes I just leave the camera and just do my thing. Well, if I remember to capture perfect, if I don't, all along good. But what's most important is that time with your kids and making sure that they're enjoying every moment of it. So that's for me, let me just recap real quick. It's intentionality, wellness, self-care, prioritizing that. And by self-care, we urged into spirituality is the second one, just having that relationship with Christ, knowing that He's got us, He will protect us, knowing that in those moments where we can, He'll step in for us and He'll continue to replenish our strength, faith, and love in Him. The third one is planning, organization, management. Like the way you manage work, you've got to be able to manage the home front as well. Manage being a wife, manage being a mom. And not just that, you also have to manage being a daughter. You have to manage being a sister, just like that. Like my mom, I know I have to call her. Like any week that goes, I don't call my mom. Voila, they will even start being worried. Don't call your mom. If you have to send her a thing or two, you have to send her. You have to also get to listen to her and chat with her and see what's happening in her world and trying to sort of help her out, whatever it is that's going on. So that's like being a daughter. You also have to be a sister, like, checking on your brothers, your siblings, see what's going on. If they need help, how do you step in? How do you support and things like that? How do you give them guidance? How do you just navigate, right? If they're younger, you even have to sort of hold their hands and help them with whatever it is that's going on in their lives. Then, beyond planning organization, we also talked about intentionality of spending time, like intentional living. Like this year, my mantra is intentional living. Like when I was at work, I'll enjoy what I'm doing at the moment, in the moment at work, no matter how stressful it is, whether it's with the kids, with the husband, with the family, whatsoever it is, friends, I will enjoy. So just, intentionally spending time with your family, with your husband, with your kids, with your friends. Or even just, if there's no time, figure out a way to do it all together. There are times where I have a get-together at home just for no reason, just to get together. I cook and I invite my friends, and then we have a good time with the family. That's a way to bring everybody. That's another tip. Bring everybody in one place without having to do things separately. If you don't need to, then do it. Then finally, really, it's balancing such that none suffers. For instance, there are times where I know that I have a deliverable and I have a very short space of time and it's really critical at work. I will make sure to give it that time but I know that I would have to compensate for all the others that I haven't given that quiet time, or that have suffered whilst I was giving my work that full time. For instance, if I've worked the whole day, let's say from morning till like maybe 10 p.m., because that happens, to hit a target, I know that the next day I would try to maybe even get off work earlier so that I can spend time with the kids and maybe make sure that I go drop them off and go pick them off. Like, be part of all their activities is also one way. Just making sure that you're, in their face and you're bonding with them and stuff like that. So that's my 2 cents. That's really how I've been managing it. I don't have the answers to it. I'm also still trying to figure it out. But these are the 5 key things that I know have worked for me and keep working for me that I'll never even give up on. It's the intentionality. To sum it up, it's intentionality about everything. Intentional living, intentional spirituality, intentional planning, intentional presence, like being there. Not just, oh, I'm here, but I'm using my phone. Oh, I can see them. They're doing good. Intentional, like dropping the phone and focusing on them. And really wellness, intentional about taking care of yourself, because taking care of yourself is also beneficial to your family, because if you're not healthy and well, you can't survive. So with that, I will end this conversation today, and I really hope that you picked a thing or two, or will inspire you one way or the other. If you're a mom and you're going through it, trust me, joy will always come in the morning. So just keep going. When you look at those little children in front of you, it's super worth it. So I really want to encourage you to keep doing what you do. There are obviously days that you're like, nah, I can't. That's fine, and that's why you have a partner, and that's where he steps in to bridge the gap. But even just by your existence, by you just being well and you just loving and caring for them, I think that's really all that they need. Your presence is important. So you're encouraged today, and take care. I hope that this was a good sort of knowledge sharing today, and I look forward to the next session. Please do also subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Bye.